Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and this is the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 296. I'm here with Mr. Petelov, and this is our special half-hour edition. And starting off, what can you tell us about, the whole thing about my speech, but let's fast forward the speech, because people have heard it a long time. I'm real rusty at this. I haven't done my interviews as of late, as it can be seen. And my disability kicks in occasionally. But the whole point of my show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and to prove to people you can still mount to something. That labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should prove to them you can still mount to something. So that being said, half hour of your time, and starting off, what can you tell us about yourself and your career?
Hey, first of all, hi Keith, Andrew. Thanks so much for having me on your beautiful show. And I'm so happy that I can at least a little bit contribute to the cause you have here. And I couldn't agree more. Labels can determine who we are. And, apart from that, I'm Theo. I'm an actor. I came from Eastern Europe, from Bulgaria originally. And now I live in New York. I went to school here. I went to the Atlantic Conservatory that was founded by David Mamet. And I'm really, really happy to be here because this was my dream to come to New York and continue with my acting career here. And so far it's going very well. I I can't complain. I'm grateful for all the beautiful jobs and people and artists that I've met so far, and the wonderful theater shows that I was part of, and had the you know um, great opportunity to produce or direct or cast or act in it, and yeah, it's like a new beginning for me here in America. It's been 8 years since I came here, and I'm full of excitement.
No, I'm glad things are working out for you.
So far, so good.
Now, the first question I was going to ask you is, how was life growing up?
How was life? Well, I've been a very lucky and fortunate guy. I come from a very good family, and of course, completely different cultural background than the life that I'm living right now here. But honestly, I I've had a good life. I was always a rebel. I didn't want to listen to my parents much. I always wanted to do what I thought it was right to do, and many a times I made huge mistakes in that sense. But I learned from my mistakes, I believe, and here I am.
Alright, well, after the show, I do have a couple of questions for you. And now, the first one I'm going to ask you is, when you came over from Eastern Europe to the United States, how hard was the transition? And did you go to school in Europe, or did you go to school in the States?
Okay. So I just had this conversation yesterday with a student of mine, and because she's a little younger than I am, and she's going through the same, and I just want to somehow spare the frustration that I went through, because not because it's a big deal. It's not, especially for artists. We have to have this mindset that we will be traveling. It's possible for you to make it anywhere, and but inevitably, when you change everything and you leave your family behind and friends and all that, it's tough. It was really, at the beginning, it wasn't very easy for me because I was so self-conscious of my accent, of everything that I didn't know about the city and the people here. But I was really fortunate to start going to school right away, so that helped me immensely with the transition. Because I studied first in Bulgaria in our National Academy for Theater and Film Arts, and I had my bachelor's degree from there. And then I came to the 2.5 years conservatory here in the city, and as an actor, I was confident that I know what I'm doing, but at the same time, it was like a whole new experience and a beautiful one too, because honestly, all of my instructors and teachers and the great artists that I met there, they helped me so much. This was really surprising to me because I felt like, okay, I'm different. I have this accent. Sometimes people don't understand what I want to say, and it's really frustrating and it makes me feel sad. But at the same time, they weren't judgmental whatsoever. They just did their best for me to grow as an actor and to actually, because I think the biggest issue at the beginning is just dealing with the language, because it's not your language, and it's really hard to communicate what you want to communicate with the audience, and to make sure that you mean what you say, because there's this like weird thing about languages is that it takes time. But I wanted for everything to happen very fast, and of course this brought some frustration. But apart from that, I just figured it out. I had to work more than my peers there, much more, and I did it, and it was really a beautiful experience. So that's what I was going back to my conversation with my student. I was just telling her that honestly, we have to embrace who we are and what it is. We have to be realistic about where we can get, of course, and the potential, but there are like several like steps, and you have to let time help you and inform you, because if you just want to rush through it, it's not gonna happen, and you just like feel miserable that way. But that's why I'm hoping that I can help her that way and just support her a little bit, because I think that's very important, because I didn't have many friends here when I started, so I had to deal with it on my own, and sometimes it was just a little too much for me. But I'm happy that this adaptation period is over, really.
Now, you mentioned you have your own students, so are you like a teacher?
Yeah, I like to teach acting, private coaching for most of the time, or to do guest classes in different schools, because I think that it's very rewarding, first of all, and then I see how I can help young actors, and I think that's very important. I'm not necessarily doing this as a full-time job, but I enjoy doing it when there's a person or an actor who is talented and determined, then they can count on my help.
All right, now the next question I was going to ask you is, what some of the films that you do? Like I said, I'm really rusty. I haven't done this as a way. What were some of the films that you done, and were you any extras in any TV shows?
Well, I've done very tiny parts so far here in America, and because I was primarily focused on theater, and I started, of course, with my good friend Kay Hoffman, and I just want to thank them because they're so awesome, and really, thanks to them, we started the WhiteListed Theater Company in 2011. So for me, it was just like 5 years of very intense work, theater shows. Now I'm transitioning more into film, and I'm very excited about that too, because I find it really, really interesting and different. And I love theater, but I think that it's time for me to transition a little bit. I've had like little day player, tiny parts. I've done some comedy shows and webisodes, and I had like a tiny appearance on The Blacklist last year. Yeah, but as I said, hopefully this is a new beginning for me, there will be more to come.
Well, two questions just came to mind. When you were on the blacklist, what type of role did he have, and did you like working with the cast?
Yeah, the whole experience was amazing, really. From the audition up until the last moment of shooting, it was very, very professional. It's a huge production. There were like every person from the crew and cast, they were very respectful to me and really, really nice. So I felt like I was in this very safe environment, and it was really easy for me to work and enjoy the work. It was a great experience overall.
Now, did he get the chance to work with the main cast, like Kevin Spacey and the other ones, or just work with the extras?
And some of them, I didn't work with the extras, but I worked with the day players because this episode was set in Germany and it was in the Turkish embassy. So I was one of the guards at the embassy, the guy who actually misses, like, who is drinking his coffee and he didn't see that something is happening, so he was pretty much the person to blame for whatever happened after. But yeah, there was this really, really talented Turkish actor who was my partner in that scene, and it was a great learning experience for me too, and it made me feel accepted, and made me feel very good just seeing that an elderly Turkish actor, he can get work here, and he's so talented and people recognize that. I think the whole casting, the casting team behind that show is incredible.
No, absolutely, it's a great show. For
It
people
is.
who like it.
So, yeah, I like it a lot.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. I wasn't gonna say anything. I just said that I like the show too. It's a very good show.
I watch it occasionally. I'm not a big fan of it, but I do watch it occasionally. I do like Kevin Spacey. He's a great actor. I would love to have him on the show at some point.
Kevin Spacey, incredible.
And also, I forgot the other actor's name.
Yeah, I mean, in this one it was James Spader, actually.
Yeah, that's why.
It's in House of Cards. But hey, if I get to have like the tiniest part in House of Cards, I'll be so happy because this is one of my favorite shows. Definitely.
That's what I meant. I came out with Kevin Spacey, but I was actually thinking of James Spader.
Right.
Like I said, I'm really rusty at this.
No problem.
I've been working in retail at a temporary job for the past couple of days. So I've been going since Thanksgiving, and so my mindset's just on the store. But what I really want to be doing with my life is the talk show. I want to be doing this till I die, because I'm very passionate about this. This is really what I want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, you have to eat shit to basically get to where you need to go.
I know.
It's basically that. But I do want to take a quick commercial break at this point. And the first thing I want to plug, and you're a perfect candidate for this, the first thing I want to plug is CelebrityVM.com. And for people who want to know what CelebrityVM.com is, it's basically, if you're a fan of House of Cards, if you're a professional wrestling fan, if you like Star Wars, you can get, and I'm on there too, so I'll give you a perfect example. You come across CelebrityVM.com, it's like, hey Keith, I saw you do impressions, I like your show, can you give me a recommendation, can you give me a shout out, I'm getting married, my daughter's doing this, my son's doing that, whatever you want, as long as it's not perverted, I get to say it for you. And, basically, you can ask any actors who are on there. It's actors, actresses, models, YouTube personalities like myself, a whole bunch of other great people. The lowest is about $20. The highest is $500. So if you're a fan of Dennis Rodman, he charges $500. If you like Brooke Hogan's, he wants $200. And that's ridiculous amount of money for a 22-minute thing or something. But whatever. But I got a lot of great recommendations from great stars. Looking forward to having them on the show. You should be on there. You're an actor. Great way to interact with your fans. Get some money on the side. Second thing I want to talk about is WooQuates.com. They have a description box you can get. Once a month, they will send you a package. T-shirt, toy, shot glass. A whole bunch of great things. Go to WooQuates.com. And the last thing I want to promote is, I don't know if you've ever been to Woodbury Commons.
No.
Well, it's a big tourist attraction. I think you would like it.
Yeah, alright.
And so at the store I'm temping at, I'm working over at Hush Puppies. So anyone who wants like an autograph or picture, you can come see me. But basically, the store's going out of business, and the store's up to, as of right now, 60% off. So we're all selling the items for the most part. Like clearance items are like $19.99, but there's also about the other rest of the store. It's like $29.99, so it's tax. You're basically paying like $31.64. Great deal. And come to Woodbury Commons, go to Hush Puppies. We're closing. They're basically being forced out because Woodbury Commons wants to be more of a luxury place, so basically more expensive, snobby.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically forcing out all the small places to get all the rich people. If that was the case, why did you... And this is the one thing that pisses me off. You're saying you want all the small stores out, period. But yet you're building, and what's taking their places? More small stores. I'm like...
That's a long conversation, especially whatever's happening here in the city. It's not great.
It's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say you gotta do one thing, but at the same time you gotta turn it over. Anyway, back to the show. I'm gonna pass it over to you now. You can ask me anything you want, gloves off, uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. And so was there anything you want to ask me, anything you want to promote? This is your time after all.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah. Well, let me start by asking, how did you come up with the idea, and when did it become like reality for you, the show that you're doing?
I do mention that I use certain people as an inspiration. But the truth of the matter is, the more I'm thinking about it, I just got tired of people saying to me, this is what's expected of you. And if you amount to something great, more power to you. But it's kind of like, I use my dad for an inspiration. I use one of my other siblings as an inspiration. But the truth is, it's nice to say it. But at the same time, you really need to stand on your own 2 feet and do something on your own. You go like, yeah, it's nice to talk about your family and this and that. But what about you? Like you said, what made you do it? So I'm not trying to make any excuses. Basically, the long story short is, basically, like I said, I'm really rusty at this. I haven't done my interviews. My interviews are my priority. But I'm getting sidetracked with other meaningless stuff. So basically, to make a long story short, I came across a couple of actors and actresses that I became friends with. And yes, I had some family members that I look up to. But I'm like, that's great, but I need something that would help me. Something to say. One thing I remember about Keith Andrew is he did this. Yeah, he talked about this and that. But I remember he did exactly this, and he was an inspiration for this. Long story short, was I'll bitch into, is I went to school. Basically, here's the highlights. You're the teaser. Oh, Mrs. and Mrs. blah blah blah, we know your son has a learning disability, mentally challenged or retarded. But we promise you, after these 4 years, he will be a functional adult. He will go to college, he will get his degree in whatever he wants to do. Nope. Just go sit in the back of class, here's the newspaper, go play on the computer, go fool around or whatever. So basically, I was pushed along, and I was told I was never going to amount to anything. I was going to be working in retail, and I'm like, you know what? And so I'm going to show you I can amount to something. I tried talking to my other people that I know, and then they're like, well, you're not educated, you're not capable of holding down a job, you have poor people skills. I'm like, okay, that's true. So I came up with the talk show. The talk show is basically therapy for myself. You know, it helps me get over. It does help me get over my social anxiety and my panic attacks. But it's also therapy for myself, number one. Number two, it's kind of like, you know, it's besides being therapy, now when I see someone, I am now comfortable and a little more approachable. Like if I saw you on the street, or if you came to my store, I would walk over, and I wouldn't use my real name, Keith Andrews, that's my stage name. I say, Keith Andrew, really nice to meet you. If you need anything, let me know. But if you go back 10 years ago, when I was a senior in high school and growing up, I would never do that. I was always the kid in the corner. I didn't want to socialize. I did want to socialize, but I was really bad at it. So it's basically, you know, helps me with my disability, helps me with my social anxiety. And one of the things that get to me is people are like, when you're trying to turn yourself into a perfect example for people who are in a wheelchair, who are deaf and blind, but yet you are capable of doing your talk show, and we really don't see anything wrong with you. And I'm like, oh my god, there's hundreds of types of disabilities. Unfortunately, mine are more mental than physical. And there's other people that you can see on the outside and in. So you can't say, oh well, he's retarded. So look up in the dictionary, you see a guy who has problems, and then he's saying, you have a disability, but we don't see it. So it's kind of like you can't have it both ways. And I'm like, you know, you can't please everyone. You know,
No.
so basically, this is not a front. This is not like a con or anything. I do have a learning disability. I am sometimes, you know, yes, retarded if you want to be perfectly correct. But, you know, it's basically saying that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
No,
And I'm not
no,
saying that I can still mount something.
no.
You came from Eastern Europe to this country, and you want to become an actor. You don't have a disability as far as I know of, but you're a perfect example for any foreigners that want to live their dreams.
Absolutely, because I don't fit in the labeling. I don't fit. There's no category exactly for me or anything like that. It's just like you, because power to you, man. Because what you're doing is not. You're setting an example for everyone. It's not just for people with disabilities. Because here we're talking about the willpower. Yeah. And what we're actually capable of doing within ourselves, which is the most important. Because you can always like sit and like lecturing people and being like, oh, you shouldn't live that way, or you shouldn't do that because it's not, or you should help people with disabilities or do something, and everyone will be like, yeah, they'll just yes you to death, and that will be it. And actually taking action is so brave, really. And I know it's like the biggest cliche, but it's not, because when you see it happening, then you're like, then I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. And if you can, because you have issues that you have to, get over. You have to. It's so much more work for you to do what you're doing, and still you're doing it perfectly well. And this is amazing. And not only that, but you're saying that, there's a huge difference between you 10 years ago and you now. So obviously what you're doing is working. It's working for you and it's working for the people, and that's the most important.
No, absolutely. You know, when I get more support from strangers than actual people I know, but you know, I can't please everyone. You know, it's whatever.
No, exactly. And most importantly, at least for me, is to receive love and support. And then, I mean, from where and how exactly and what? It's life. You can be in control of that. But I mean, that's a very great thing what you're doing. I can't even I mean, my little issues are just nothing compared to that. And yet I get sometimes too much in my head and like being like, oh, can I do that? Am I really capable of doing that? But you're just like giving me like a really great example. And with my time to say something, this was the first thing. And just lastly, I just want to, because we need people in order for us to be happy. That's it. Technology, new age, blah blah, and computers and all that. This cannot replace it. And I'm very firm on that because I know it for a fact that this is what drives you. Love and support drives you. You have to be socializing. You have to have friends and spend time with friends, not with a computer. And because I'm an artist, I'm old school. In theater, you can't do it, by yourself. It's impossible. You need everyone. You need the ensemble. You need to have respect for these people and to be able to work with them. And that's why I just wanna, if I may, just thank the people that I've been working with in the WhiteListed Theater Company, because really they're the reason why we did what we did. Because theater is like you have it today and it's all beautiful and you have all these people, and tomorrow there's nothing, there's no trace, or maybe like a review or something, or like a poster, but that's all. But this love and energy, it just goes somewhere else. It doesn't dissipate, it doesn't disappear. But with these people like Kay Hoffman, like Tihomir Andonov, like Artan Teuchio, Alexandra Alcacer, Ivo Valko, Adriana Milanova, she's an amazing composer. She's been working with us since the get-go. Meredith Jones is an amazing, amazing actress too. And so many other people who have been there to support us, and all the wonderful actors and directors we've worked with. I just want to thank them, because without them, there's no way for us to create anything. It's like you can't do it on your own. It's all about this work together and exchange of energy, and actually being open to the other people, and respectful, and to be able to listen and understand. And that's huge. And all these people, they have that ability, and I'm just grateful that I met them, and we managed to create some art together. And I'm grateful to you, because really, it's an honor to be on your show, and I'm so happy that I can discuss these matters with you and your audience, of course.
No, absolutely, and that's basically, tell you we're wrapping up now. I do have one more question for you. We're wrapping up. When I first started my talk show, I basically don't ask me why it seemed like a good idea. If you watch all my interviews, I say the same thing over and over and over and over. Sound like a broken record, like a parrot. But when I first started, now I can't say what's on a straight face. When I first started, it seemed like a good idea. I did all phone conversations. So I interviewed people from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Dragon Ball Z to Spider-Man. But at that point, I was still having anxiety. And this is 2013. I was still having anxiety. I was still having panic attacks. And I'm like, it isn't working. I'm still freaking out, because you're talking. I don't like really talking on the phone, because you're basically and you feel like you're talking to yourself. I like seeing who I'm talking to. And I got a lot of people saying to me, and it gets to me, you had this great format. Why aren't you as big or bigger than you portray yourself to be? Why don't you have people helping you? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have to have that? Well, would you like to help me with that? No, if you're not capable of doing this, then maybe you're not capable of doing anything. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, asshole.
But that's people like to talk and just give advices, but when it comes to action, that's when people are really okay. You gotta do it by yourself because it's your show.
No, absolutely. This June will be officially 4 years. And if you want to go back 10 years, I created my own talk show. And it's a lot of different names. The Keith Andrew Power Hour, the Extreme Power Hour, Extreme Tuesday, because I'm a big wrestling fan. Yeah, I just had these different names, and I wanted to take it seriously, but at the same time, there was a lot of drama going on. That's my fault. I'm not perfect. But basically, it just says, maybe this was the start of something. And after being unemployed, I basically worked in the store. I got sick out of my own stupidity. It took me a year to recover. Went to West Point. I became a custodian. Now able to work anywhere in New York State. After Hurricane Sandy happened, during that point I was unemployed. After Hurricane Sandy, I'm like, you know what? I use certain people as an inspiration. I want to try to copy what they do. But yeah, I'm gonna be a scale back. You're a 10, I'm gonna be like a 5. But it's gotta be scaled back. But I'm gonna show you I can still amount to something. And yes, I started from the phone. So here's basically the highlights. What you see on the screen, it's basically what the camera picked up. And see, now season 1. Season 2 is what the camera saw. If I'm now recording from the camera from the computer screen. So basically you saw a transition from the phone, from the computer screen. Now I'm using Skype recorder. It looks like Fox News, CNN, first cut in half. So basically, yes, I could have done Skype recorder from the beginning, but then again, you really wouldn't have seen some of the struggles and the transitions of it changing over the years. Maybe it would have taken off a lot faster if I did it right, but then again, you wouldn't have seen, my disabilities saying, I'm doing this all by myself, and anyway, I don't mean to complain to you.
Everything happens for a good reason. I mean, the right time comes when everything comes together and all that. I think the format is perfect right now, the way it is. Because
absolutely.
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's just very relaxing for guests too, and it's more face to face, which is beautiful.
No, absolutely. Now I do have a couple questions for you off the air. About wrapping up, I took this one from the Factor, so all rights go to Bill Raleigh. So as the spin stops here, going on the record, you can say whatever you want. Going on the record, when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of my, let me rephrase that. When I first approached you, what did you think of the invite, and what were your thoughts? And after being interviewed, how do you feel now?
Yeah, so first of all, it was, when you first approached me, it was very polite, and this caught my attention too, because I've been interviewed many times, especially in Europe, and I'm very selective too, very picky, because I've done several interviews where then my words will be taken out of the context of the conversation and in support of something that I really don't support, which is horrible, and it's not a thing that a journalist should do, never. And that's why it wasn't your invite that much. Your invite was so nice and polite, and I didn't know what to expect, because I didn't know. I think I've seen something about your show, but I had no idea what was the whole point. And my initial reaction, honestly, was like, no, I don't want to do it, because really I have bad experience, and I don't find myself like important in that way, or I don't know how, if I can contribute to his show. Then of course I looked into it, and I was like, oh no, actually, that's a very good tribute for me, because I'd love to talk to this guy and support his cause, really. And now after the interview, I feel even better, because it was a great experience. I mean, I did enjoy a lot talking to you, and I don't know, just the fact that I got to meet you, and I don't know if I was able to express how it was just like a great surprise that you're doing this and you are consistent in that, and because it's so important for the people, because the human factor, that's all I'm interested in, and especially to art and all that, because it's the same with let's say theater. If you ask people, do we need theater, is it a necessity? No, it's not. Like, honestly, you can live without it, because it's not food. But there are bigger things than that. And I think that you're working in that direction. That is so important for people to actually know what's going on and be open about all of that, and feel secure and protected when they have a problem or disability or an issue or insecurity, because these are very valid things that people have to discuss with others, and know that it's all right, because it is, because no one's perfect.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up the interview segment, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on Twitter, LinkedIn?
Well, I'm not that. I am on Twitter, I believe, but I don't keep up with my account there. But you can always like my page on Facebook, which is Theo Petelov, or Instagram, LinkedIn. You can check out my website, theopetelov.com, and just to get some more information about me, and IMDb too, Theo Petelov. That's I think these are the best ways to contact me.
Alright, well, wrapping up the interview segment, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up the interview, it's a real honor to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to building a friendship as well.
Same here, Keith. Thank you so much.